We all have a voice, not a voice inside us, that's a different voice that you're all familiar with, that intuitive, self-connected voice. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the neural noise. And it tells us we're messed up, some degree of being messed up. We all have different variations of that, but it all comes from an original, flawed, faulty, erroneous, fictional premise that for some weird reason we're just born into this incarnation and we have to deal with it. But that false premise is that you're unlovable and undeserving of love. For sure. That's what every human being on the planet I think is struggling with. Now some of you could be like, no Tony, I love myself. Okay, but just hear me out for a second, because there's also different variations and explorations and manifestations of love. So I'm not just talking about Eros love, which is something that you all deserve. You all deserve to be in a most exciting, romantic, Eros-filled, epic movie making, you know, those kind of loves on the movie screen. You all deserve to be on an adventure in that. You deserve it. But I'm also talking about love of self, meaning the higher self, infinite love, agape love, divine love, quantum love. You deserve that. You also deserve love of community, of friendship, of family, of having sacred relationships with people that allow you to be your best self. Then there are also other manifestations of love, which is creativity. You all deserve to have a creatively fulfilling, exciting, vibrant, adventure-filled life. You deserve that. You also all deserve to have an exciting, fulfilling, jubilant, award-winning career. You deserve that. You also deserve to have abundance and prosperity. You deserve that. You deserve all these things that are part of being on this planet, that we're here to experience for ourselves. It's part of the adventure. You all deserve to be on the adventure of that. Except for this faulty premise that tells you you're messed up in some weird way and you're not deserving of it. I started thinking about this because I had a conversation with a friend of mine this past week, and he said he has so many cracks. And I said, well, that's how the light gets in. Now, I didn't really say that. I talked about this before. Leonard Cohen said this, the lyricist. He says, there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. I just want to think about it in a different way tonight. I actually feel like that's how the light gets out. Look it, we are like this. And the goal in life is through these cracks that we feel we should not have, which I'm going to get to in a second. In the cracking of the infrastructure, the light emanates forward. We all have it. You all have individual light. It's not different. I mean, it's different, but it's not better or more unique than anybody else's. We're all plugged into the same electrical grid. We all have the same wattage. I'm just trying to get you to understand how it chooses to manifest is different. So Madonna's light is great. That's Madonna's light. The way you want to choose, oh, she did a song about the ray of light too, didn't she? Anyway, that just is coming to me right now. But the way you uniquely express your light is the reason why you are here, for sure. So it's not more special than anybody else's, but it's yours. And the interesting thing about that is, sometimes we think, oh, well, some people are illuminating more light than other people. No, I think it's just those people that are spreading more light just happen to have, look at, you can't see me at all here. You can't see light. But as these things start to crack open, the cracks open, more light is illuminating forth. That's the illuminative quality we all have. The challenge is you have to get into dialogue with your cracks. Exactly. I'm going to title this lesson, it's called Share Your Crack, because that's the truth. You got to share that crack, Rachel. The truth about it is we don't do that, because this stuff is the shadow part. But it has something to teach you, and it wants to engage you. That's why you have it. That's why we run away from it, but that's why you have it. And the interesting thing is we can run away from it and avoid it, and I'll do all those things for as long as we want until we keep coming back and realizing, oh, it's still there. So part of it is about learning how to engage in a dialogue to embrace and work with them. And I think it's challenging for two reasons. First of all, you're not kind to yourself. This is a theme that I keep coming back to recently, which is the kind of parts of yourself that you love. You like your hairstyle, and you think you're funny or humorous, and you're a good parent, or you like your style, or you like your body, or you have nice teeth. Those things you're really okay with giving yourself compliments about, self-love. But when it comes to the darker parts of who you are, oh my gosh, you beat yourself up for having them. You continue to create that neural noise thinking that there's something wrong with you. You've got to start being loving to those parts of you because they are there for a reason. The other reason why you're not is because we live in a culture that generates shame and guilt around it. We have to break that myth. There's no guilt and shame about having a shadow self. It's all duality, people. It's yin and yang. Without one, you can't have the other. So it's necessary and needed. But because our culture doesn't understand, really, to me, the physics of feeling and the physics of this part of expressing light through dark, that we are taught it's about avoidance of that. You know, I had an epiphany. I was, in the summertime, I was with my dad, and I don't know, all of a sudden it kind of fired to me a couple nights ago. I went for a walk with my dad, and they've been married, my mom and dad have been married for going on 57 years. I know, it's crazy. And I said to my dad, I said, Dad, did you ever want to divorce Mom? And some of you know my dad, so I'm going to do an impersonation. He was like, oh, of course I did. That's how he sounds, like Yogi Bear. And I was like, he really does. You met him. And I was like, well, why didn't you? And he said, oh, son, if I would have divorced your mom, then that means I would have just dealt with the same stuff with someone else. That's like a little Buddha, my dad. It's true. Everybody is but a reflection of your stuff. Your pockmarks, your fissures, your cracks are not deeper than anybody else's. We all have it. The goal is, and what I'm always here to teach is, how do we just find a more balanced way to minimize that stuff that you think keeps you, and does often keep you, from sharing your light.